Beloved brothers and sisters, moment to moment to moment, there is a brand new experience available to you. If you stay present to it, you will never be bored. If there is a particular experience that you find valuable, you may want to bring it into your life with regularity. Maybe you find that waking up at a certain time really works for you, or taking certain vitamins just makes sense and feels good, or a certain diet, or a certain exercise routine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that on this level of density, things become solidified that were originally quite fluid. And so it's easy to lose consciousness by following a rule or having a habit. And the habit allows you to not be conscious. But it was the consciousness that actually gave you the experience that you liked, not the rule. And if your life becomes about rules, you can become quite unaware that things have shifted. You know, many years ago, the Native Americans, the American Indians, lived by this expression, rise and retire with the sun. When you think about it, it sounds like a rule. And yet, every time they did that, it gave them a different experience because there's not much sun in the winter. So it meant that they slept much longer in the winter. And then they would rise with the sun, but in the spring and the summer, that meant getting up very early and staying up very late. So it didn't stay the same, even though that might be a pretty good rule to follow. What I'm suggesting is that you bring consciousness to even the good things in your life that have become habits, so that if something changes, it's quite possible that something that was good for you before is not good for you now. Be willing to be open to that. Suppose you have the habit of tithing. From the Bible, and you think it makes sense. And you give the first handful of rice to God, and then whatever you need will be given to you. That was what was said in the Bible. Well, if you put consciousness into that, if when you get paid, you say, what or who has spiritually fed me this month? I want to support that. That's very different than just deciding that 10% of your income will go to such and such a charity or such and such a church. You see, life is always changing. The moment is always different. What was true today may not be true tomorrow in terms of habits, even graceful habits, even the healthiest of habits. When you take your vitamins in the morning, if that's what you do, breathe in and ask yourself, do I need this today? Do I need this much today? Does this routine still work for me? Or do I need to change it? Can I do something outside of my routine? Because everything that you do outside of your routine will lift your consciousness. You'll have to be aware that you're making a different choice. So many of these things become solidified over time without our even knowing it. That we think we've got things lined up and we're on a spiritual path and we do this and we do that. But what I'm saying is mix it up, break it up, break a rule sometimes. Ask yourself, is this really what I want to do today? Even if it was a great idea yesterday, is this really what I want to do today? And if not, do something else. See what that brings you. It's a little bit frightening because you're stepping outside of the comfortable. You're stepping outside of what you've always done. But that's where life is. Life is just outside of your habits, just outside of predictability. It isn't predictable. It's completely new every second. And you have to be open to that newness to experience it. I'm not saying do something drastic, but I am saying ask yourself moment to moment, what is the next best thing for me to be doing, for me to be saying? All of the concepts that you have are not the truth. All of the habits that you've read about, that you've brought into your life are not the truth. The truth lies within you. And it's a moving, living thing. Even though at its essence, nothing changes. It's a paradox. Be open as much as you can to what life is showing you moment to moment to moment, and make a different choice if that makes sense. Or just notice how your habits allow you to be unconscious, even the good ones, and bring your consciousness back. Things that you do with consciousness are quite different than things you just do out of habit. Enjoy this wonderful new day. I love you very much. And I'll speak with you again soon.